cancel some teachers and even parents of enabling examination malpractice. He said he possesses evidence of such. He lamented that Sierra Leone, the nation once celebrated as the Athens of West Africa, has seen its educational reputation diminished. Now, those remarks have reignited unfavorable questions about standards, accountability, and the future credibility of the country's education system. But outside Makeni, another controversial conversation was already gathering momentum. Government reduced pump prices, petrol by 2 leones and diesel by 5. For many households already battling inflation and high cost of living, expectations were high. But instead of celebrating, came criticism. Civil society organizations, including the Native Consortium and Research Center and the Sierra Leone Labour Congress, described the reduction as too little to make a meaningful difference to the average family or business, arguing that global oil market trends justified a much larger cut. Meanwhile, public debt now stands at approximately 62.7 billion, around 2.61 billion US dollars, equivalent to roughly 50.8% of the nation's gross domestic product. The latest IGR assessment scorecard of government delivery presents a mixed picture. Only around 5% of government commitments have been fully achieved. 26%, they say, show significant progress, while 26% records only minimal progress. More than 1/5 shows no measurable progress at all. These figures do not tell the entire story, but neither can they be, meaningfully ignored. It is an exercise in democratic examination, if you like. But the question we would like to ask tonight is, did the presidential town hall provide convincing evidence that Sierra Leone, this country, is moving decisively in the right direction? Or did it expose the widening distance between official achievements and everyday realities? We are going to find out in the next 2 hours. And if you're just joining us tonight, the program you're watching is AYV on Sunday.
AYV on Sunday.
Hello and welcome. Please allow us to take you on an everlasting journey of hard-hitting journalism. No spin, no filter, just the truth.
On AYV on Sunday, we ask the questions that many are afraid to ask, and to test the level of sincerity and integrity of the people who have the power to shape our world.
From the bureaucratically minded corridors of power and the seats of the president,
to the deafening voices of the people that actually matter.
What you should know is that ours are not just mere conversations.
They are accountability personified, live, unfiltered, and in your face.
A live audience of 10 persons will also be included in each edition of the program on first come, first included basis.
Hello and welcome. I am Fabian Sweel.
And I am Victor Jones.
And this is AYV on Sunday.
right, thank you very much indeed for joining us tonight. I am Victor Jones. Welcome to IB on Sunday. You're watching us on our local channel 3, our national channel is 399 on DSTV, and you're also hearing us on radio this evening on 101.7 FM. Speaking for the government tonight is Chegun Ubah, Sierra Leone's Minister of Information and Civic Education. And in the middle of the conversation, we're expecting Reverend James Lahai, who is an election specialist, activist, and the National Publicity Secretary of the main opposition, All People's Congress, Minkailu Payamba Kurma, is also here tonight. Our viewers and listeners are highly encouraged to participate in the program by dropping a comment or two or a question in our comment section on Facebook. We are, however, appealing that you do so decently if you can. Good evening.
Good evening.
My guest.
Great to be with you.
It's a pleasure having you tonight.
Always a pleasure.
I'll start with you, Mr. Minister. In not so many words, how would you describe McKinney's Town Hall? By your estimation, of course.
Historic, successful, path-breaking, and I think I will say we made another huge leap in the exercise of our young democracy. I think I was just reading a quote.
Okay.
I think it was Ronald Reagan who said that information is the oxygen of the modern society. Thomas Jefferson called it information as the currency of democracy. Those are two very important words. Oxygen. Without it, you don't have life. The Washington Post says democracy dies in darkness. When there's no information, democracy dies. I think McKinney was dramatic for many reasons.
Okay.
I think to have the fountain of honor of a country. Look, when you and I were growing up, I have memories of President Joseph Saidu Momo. My memories are limited to his passing by in a convoy, and we as school kids, we line up the street and we're waving.
Yeah.
The idea of an interaction with your head of state, something so fundamentally distant, so inachievable, so beyond the realm of your possibility, that to make that the norm and to do it in the way that we did, with ordinary voices asking tough, simple questions, not elites. I think you'll hear, sometimes you hear elites grumble because they are used to holding the microphones and asking in their own words. But you had ordinary Sierra Leoneans representing all walks of life, interacting with the president of their country. You may not like President Julius Maada Bio. That is your prerogative. You're entitled to. You may not like us in the ministry. You may not like this government. But if you care about democracy, you will applaud what happened in Makede, in the opposition stronghold. A public square, a modern public square. It is by no means perfect, but it was a significant leap forward on the journey of our democracy.
Okay. Payamba, what about you?
Say again?
How would you describe McKinney's Town Hall? You've heard from Chairman.
Yes, you know, to be very honest with you, I want to describe it as dramatic.
Dramatic?
Yes. I say dramatic because, you know, we have seen analysis from various individuals.
Okay.
I was also very patient, and I watched the town hall. I was not there physically, but I watched it. I did see the minister very eloquent in his presentation, and His Excellency was smiling. I also saw the drama when the mayor of McKinney City was asking questions. I saw the traditional right performances by our traditional leaders, especially PCs. I saw all of that. But by and large, it has been largely described by political analysts as scripted, stage managed, and the administration shielded from authentic public scrutiny. That is how I think we'll describe it.
Do you have any proof for this? Why would you describe it as scripted?
Proof? I don't need to have proof. You just need to follow. First of all, the people that ask the questions, when they comment, the minister did state clearly that many questions came in, but those questions were subdivided into 6 thematic areas. Yeah, those 6 thematic areas were highlighted by the minister, and in fact, he projected those questions for the audience to see, and even for us that we are not in the hall in Makeni. Yeah, he said they were asking questions on governance, democracy, and national cohesion. They asked questions on economic transformation and development, human capital development, security, and national resilience, Sierra Leone's leadership on the global stage, personal reflective questions to President Bio. So those are the 6, we are the 6 thematic areas. And then we saw the first person that asked the question, Ali Saja Sila from Anatar base. He asked a question on constitution, the new constitution, and again the intention of the president to extend his presidential term. In responding, President Bio was very clear that he stated the reasons for the intention to want to complete the process that was started some almost 30 years ago by Dr. Ahmed Tijan Kaba. He spoke about Peter Tucker and the Constitutional Review Committee that was set up, and then later to Justice Kawan under Ernest Bai Koroma. But in the final analysis, the president also did make it abundantly clear that he had no intention to want to extend his tenure, and in fact, he was head of state and is now an elected president. After his tenure, he may not be interested in anything that has got to do with the presidency. He was very clear. But then when you go to the second individual, that question was asked maturely by an individual from an Anatar base, and it was answered aptly by the president, on the constitution. And now, when you go to the second individual, you can notice that the lady, Shaw, her name is Umusho, if I'm not mistaken, you can notice the panic from her, that a script was handed over to her to study and respond to that particular question. I mean, you can notice that she was not confident like Sila, and that in fact, she managed. Her question was on census. She asked the president the reason for the deferment or postponement of the decennial census that also took place in December last year, and if the census is going to hold. The president was also very clear.
Mr. Jones, we were all there. It will be nice for this man not to replete. He's basically he's been a reporter.
Now,
I would like to hear an analysis.
I am not, this is an analysis. This is an analysis. Now, this is an analysis. Because if I do not analyze, I cannot be in a better position for the public to understand clearly where I'm coming from. So I think I am analyzing. I was not the moderator. I was not there physically. I watched, I read, and I am analyzing. If I was not analyzing, I could not have been in the position to state that the lady was in fact panicked and that the question was scripted, if I was not in the position of analysis. So let me state.
How will you convince someone beyond reasoning, to say it was scripted? What tangibles?
It is very clear. I don't need to be there where the script was handed over to her. But as an analyst, I believe it was scripted by the action of the lady. In making her presentation. Secondly, there is a very important. I think we are going to be given equal time.
My brother, but I want to plead.
Yes.
I want to plead. I think.
Well, let me listen. Let me listen.
I say this with due respect. We're all in the public. I'm okay with you coming here and criticizing me and criticizing the president. I take great pains as a young girl who stepped in front of a camera, a citizen, your citizen, and asked the president of our country a question. And you come on national television and you're telling her that because she was jittery, speaking to the president, that means you're questioning her. You can question us as public officials, but don't question the citizen. Don't question the young girl. question me. I'm okay with that.
Now,
That's I beg you.
Can I proceed
as,
now?
As public officials.
No, can I
as,
proceed?
As a leader.
Yes.
I'm
Can
asking
I
you this
proceed?
with respect, sir.
Yes, I understand clearly.
Please.
And the fact of the
Criticize
matter,
us.
no. The fact
Don't
of the matter
criticize
is
that young girl
that we are
in this
analyzing.
democracy is coming forward to speak
This is
up.
an analysis of the outcome of the presidential town hall meeting in
We're not
Makinde.
analyzing outcome. We're
Yeah.
analyzing the girl.
No.
Whether
But
she
then
was
it is
So to what
actually
end,
wrong.
to what end are you
very
criticizing?
sad.
First of all, if I say the whole town hall meeting was scripted and stage managed,
That's what you said.
it is
yes.
my responsibility to advance reasons as to my assertion.
Right.
And one of the reasons I have stated is that the lady was not too confident, as if the question was coming naturally from
The
her.
young lady
Do you want
asking
to tell me that is not an
president's
analysis?
question. You want her to be
It is an
comfortable.
analysis.
Almost
We have to be very
almost
clear on
young
that
people
now.
in there. You
And
said
that
something
is
like
also the
people
reason.
to
That is also the reason.
Was she scripted in any way? Was she
That
scripted?
is that is also the reason why most
Are you
of the
scripted when
questions,
you're asking your question?
most of the
really.
questions, yeah.
I'm
most-
asking. Wait.
No.
You are here. You are asking us
But
questions.
then, Jones, is
You have
this
a
how you
script.
want to
No, I'm
moderate
not, I'm not
this program?
scripted, but just a minute,
Right.
Minkailo. Mr. Minister,
Well, maybe we
Well,
can
Minkailo
start.
said
I
that-
can explain for my brother the context of the question.
okay.
The lady was recorded. It was a pre-recorded question. So we,
You had recorded it before the town hall?
of course,
Okay.
it was not live. So therefore it's scripted. So I don't know
So
what
this is it's a confirmation.
My only point is,
Okay.
don't criticize the young lady. Criticize
Right.
us. She's
Right, so
imagine,
on that
just think
note-
about that
okay.
idea. Say, this young lady in a school picking,
Okay.
we went to her in a democracy. Imagine what a big honor it is for her. Ask you president's question. You say, me, I care about census. We say, okay, put down your question so we'll record them. She puts it down. How many of you don't see her before camera before in your life? You put camera, that puts camera before you right now. You
Now,
first
before
step.
camera, this one.
No, I'm just telling you.
I am
because
live
But
on
you are
air.
here now.
Yes.
If in your life you think you and her picking are the same, imagine.
No,
you want to,
but
you
then
want to condemn
I don't
this
want us to
girl?
know. This is just an analysis.
So-
it is not a personal attack. I don't want you to
understand.
reduce this
No,
debate
don't
to
do
that.
that.
No, you are
We
reducing
decide
the
in
debate to that.
government.
No.
Mr. Minister, please allow him. Please
Listen,
continue.
this,
that,
no,
please.
it's
I would like
not- we
to-
are analyzing the questions.
I understand.
Do not ask questions.
Let's proceed.
So it is my responsibility to give proper analysis.
After the young lady,
When
beg
I
you.
spoke about Sila first.
Yes.
Did I criticize him?
Yeah, but this is
No,
also what is bad.
no,
You
but
are saying-
Sima, no.
you are saying-
That is not it. That is not it. No, that is not it. I think we need to have this conversation properly directed.
I would like to usher in
Mr.
Reverend
No,
E.
no,
You
but then I
want
am
to?
yet to conclude.
Okay, please finish up. Mr. Minister, please allow him to
He has
finish. Please
interrupted
finish.
me.
Please finish
I
up.
am here to conclude.
Yes.
I'll let
Yeah. Many things came up.
Okay.
I am very much interested in the census that the
Okay.
president spoke about.
All right.
The president did talk about the credibility and transparency of the census.
Just what asked.
Yeah? And in fact, that there are various levels of committees, including international partners, and that statistics is not the only institution that will be guiding the process. But I'll put it to you or to government now, that the opposition is not satisfied with the process so far. That in fact, a lot of things are happening with the census process, and we are kept in the dark. We are kept in the dark completely before coming to this particular
Government
discussion.
said they were involving the
No, but then
opposition.
I am telling you, I am
in the process.
No, I'm an official representative of the opposition. I am telling you now.
Mr. Brown would like to
There's a
respond to
chairman.
this.
There's a chairman of.
Why are they
there's
being
a chairman-
sidelined?
Jones, I'm yet to land.
Yes, please finish up. I just wanted to follow up with the minister on this
Because if I
particular
say the
point.
opposition is being sidelined,
Yeah.
I need to state
Okay, the reason.
the reasons.
Okay.
First of all, there is currently a mock census ongoing. Mock census. That is a process before the main census in the 5 regions. Trainings were conducted. The opposition was not informed. Forget about us being involved. We were not even informed. I spoke with the chairman of the census committee for APC, Mr. Balugus Koroma, before coming to this place. He gave me a comprehensive report on what is obtaining currently with the census.
And what's the summary of that?
That in fact the mock census is ongoing as we speak. That the opposition is not involved and we are never informed. That we only came to realize through a third party that there was a training organized at Kiama Road at a certain resort for people to now be deployed in the 5 regions. That is one. Secondly, before that, there was pilot cartographic mapping in 4 of the regions. The Northwest was completely eliminated. There was no such process in the Northwest. And then we did raise questions about that. They told us it was just a sample, but it involved 4 regions. Forget about that. We have also noticed disproportionate mapping teams. For example, teams, a good number of teams were sent to Pujol, and only a few to Tonkolili. Okay. All of that has got to do with the credibility of the process. I am only bringing it up because a question was asked. The more reason why, in fact, individuals like us, the Minister of Information should have granted us the opportunity to be there, to ask direct questions to His Excellency the President. You understand? Yeah. Again, we saw a lot of things. I will come to the questions that were raised by the mayor, the responses of the president, the allegation of electricity theft, and a lot more.
We have some things to go to. Yeah. You would like to respond before
I would like to maybe do 2 quick things, if you'll permit me. Okay. First is to set the context of the town hall and what it's about and what happened, because I think my brother is grossly misinformed. At the outset,
I am not misinformed.
At the outset,
I am no. I want the minister to withdraw that. I am not misinformed.
You're not.
No. I am not.
You've just given us.
No. Not. All what I have stated is very correct.
Misinformation simply means you're not
the video. No.
My job is to give you the information.
No, Mr. Minister, as Minister of Information, I'll put it to you that I was not misinformed.
Okay.
Well, I watched it first.
Let me land.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll say what we sought to do at the town hall was to convey the concerns and voices of ordinary people. And I said at the outset, we have an impossible task. We've got about 150 questions. And we're going to try to group them and make sure if you're listening and if you care about an issue in Sierra Leone, you will hear your voice. You may not hear your question verbatim, but I made a commitment. You will hear your voice. You will hear us trying to put those questions. We have an impossible task. We were supposed to have to do it for 2 hours. First, credits to President Bill. I have never seen in Sierra Leone a public official come to an event of that nature and show up on time. He was there at 1 minute to 2. We started promptly at 2. First credit. He was supposed to do it from 2 to 4. He did it from 2 to 6. 4 straight hours, unprecedented, okay? In each of the sections, I will refer to a few things. I will say now we're going to focus on governance. Okay. And we start with what were the questions we received on governance. And I will quote some of the questions verbatim. And I say, Mr. President, people's concerns were not just about the availability of these governance institutions, but how they are working for them. I said, we had a lot of these concerns. And then we'll turn to a question that animated those concerns. I say a typical question will be something from Umu. And I'm going to go back to Umu. Because this is a young schoolgirl who cared about the census. The census is what he's spending time, so right now, again, as they did the last time, denigrating and undermining.
You said they are being sidelined.
I'm going to come to that.
Okay.
And then here, instead, that's why I begged him for an analysis. I accept an analysis and a critique. It's not perfect. I'm the first to tell you that. Wow. But I'll tell you, we were seeking to do democracy in this modern age. If it was fully scripted, why did the mayor ask a question? So was the mayor part of the script? We had, look, if anybody tells me, and I challenge everybody, by the way, I'm going to publish all the questions we received online. I'm going to publish them on our website. Every question that came, sir, we put them in and we asked the president. Even the questions people thought were impossible for us to ask.
Like?
Drugs, economy, job no day. Ordinary Sierra Leoneans, in their own voices, the prices of goods, they ask those questions. Now, Payamba can say he wants to take the mic and speak the kind of bravado, boastic English that he speaks, but you cannot come on a public platform and attack a young girl in this democracy who had the courage to stand up. I think you owe her an apology.
No, I did not attack her.
I think you do.
No.
Because you sought
I did not attack
to compare
her. No. I did not attack her.
Favorably to the man.
I was making analysis.
We're all men here.
I was making analysis.
There's a young
I did
woman
not attack her.
Who had the courage to ask her president. It was not an easy question, by the way.
Why was she the only girl that was chosen?
Exactly.
No, there were multiple other girls who
out of the millions of Sierra Leoneans.
But again, that's the point. Why am I here? Why are you here? That's the point. We're not going to get 8 million people, all of them, to ask a question. I said we will choose, and what we did, again, yes, we asked people who had sent questions, okay, can we come meet you and film that question for you? We said yes, so that means yes, she wrote it down, because not all able for before TV.
Okay.
Not all able for so she stood there and asked a question, and we recorded it. So you can come here, but to name her, and do what you just did. I'm telling you, maybe it's because of my background. Maybe it's because I'm a feminist. Maybe because I care.
Do you think
about
I am
the
not
public
gender
space.
sensitive too?
I think what you just did, sir.
Do you think I'm not
is
gender
the
sensitive too?
opposite of gender
No, I am.
sensitive.
No. You are
cannot come on a
incorrect.
public
It is
platform
inaccurate to say so.
And attack
No, I
Mr.
don't
Minister,
attack her.
what about-
I don't want us to reduce.
I want
you have to withdraw.
I want us to focus on
answer that I was
the
misinformed.
allegation Payamba has made against, your government.
Exactly.
That you're sidelining the opposition
Besides
in
that
this
allegation,
census
besides that
process.
allegation,
Yeah.
besides that
Two
allegation,
things.
Okay.
The second
Please
question,
let him respond to it.
first, the young Shore,
Okay.
who I think is actually a national hero for doing what she did and coming up and speaking up in that way. So many people were not there to do that, to ask the president of a question. That's why I say, when we were growing up, the president, minister said, the Shiva, let's say director said, right? So she said two things. One, the census, they happen, sir, and two, will it be credible and inclusive? Those were her words.
Okay.
That's a question that's reflective of what so many people have been asking. And she came forward to ask it. The president said in 2 words. One, the president pleaded with the public. Don't listen to these politicians who tell you, may they not come to you, because census is not about politics alone.
Who has said that?
The president said that. He said, census not about politics, yeah? Census not about your development. Census is about your economy. Census about what you get.
Yeah.
So the summary, 1, let them come to you. 2, he said, our commitment is the census will hold this December. It's been postponed not just by us.
Okay.
It was a technical expertise. 3, I think Payamba, again, that's why I said, with respect, he does not have the full information. He doesn't want me to say he's misinformed.
From
But
where?
the way they conduct the exercises is referring to, they know they sit down and say, oh, let we not go so, let we go so because now opposition, not reduce opposition. These are preliminary statistical exercises that are conducted with experts. And these experts understand what sampling is. This is a concept that maybe he should spend some time on. And they do all this sampling, and they understand what is the right thing to do. That's why the president said, we're not doing the census on our own.
Why are they not being brought through
They are full
the
of
Let me
process?
respond, please.
But the census is not a political exercise. There are committees that APC sits
Well,
on. They are
okay.
actively participating in these committees. I chair the Public Information Committee. I know this particular census, everything.
But given that
they
the
are
census is
doing,
that crucial, why not just for fairness?
they are
and,
doing that. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yes,
Even
Jones.
if you do everything, the next day they're going to come to the
Alright.
public and tell you and find a way
Okay.
to tell you that, oh, what did they say? They say then they give you the paper, now white paper, or this paper what they give you, line and the para. The fact of the matter is that the census is going to be conducted in a credible way with international partners. We have invited international partners. We brought them in. We said that they do a comprehensive analysis of the entire system. The government has put in significant resources into this census. We're working closely with the APC and all parties for that matter in this census process. But we're not going to be, the census is not going to be dictated by the whims of the APC or anybody for that matter, not even by us as a government.
Right.
It will be dictated by the science. It will be done by what is necessary to do a credible process that we can all trust. And by the way, that Umu can feel proud of as a Sierra Leonean.
Yes.
And that you can make sure that she's counted.
you.
That's what this census is going to be
I want to
about.
respond
Thank
briefly. I
you.
want to bring
Still-
revenue.
Yes, still on the census. Because for us, it is very important. When the question was raised by Omo, by the way, let me make this clarification. I am not going to allow Siba to blackmail me. I have respect for female children. I have 2 girls, 2 daughters, you understand? So I only did mention Omo because she asked a question. Yeah, we have to be very clear on that. Now, when the question of census came up, even Siba, as Minister of Information, did make an assertion. And I wrote it when I was listening.
Okay.
Yes. Siba asserted that regarding the reasons advanced for the boycott of the census, misinformation, but that is the 2021 midterm census. Say traditional census been calm, then calm is inform una and tell una say this, but this census where they come, una not there for listening to misinformation. He spoke a lot about it. First of all, the APC did not. We boycotted the census. We owe no regret for boycotting the midterm census. No regret whatsoever. Because the census was conducted as opposed to advice from credible international partners. Now he was talking, I need to spend more time on this now. I have conducted a lot of research along, you understand? And secondly, it is one of my areas. So you cannot tell me about spending time, I understand. Then even when the president was answering the question, the president did say, President Dio, it was postponed last because most of the processes that should take place before the main census were not conducted.
Okay. So
you need to understand that every step along the way is very important. So you cannot tell us, because this is a pilot census, it is a mock census, it is cartographic mapping.
It's not a mock. There's no mock, sir.
No.
Let's get to hear from Reverend. Good evening and welcome. It's a pleasure having you on the show this evening.
I'm just correcting.
The process that is going. No.
In your estimation, how would you describe the McKinney encounter? Do you think it was a spectacle of accountability? Please, Minkailo and Mr. Minister, please allow. Yes, please. Let's observe some decorum, please. We'd like to hear from. Okay. I thought you.
Let me conclude on this. Yeah.
Right, please.
So we are not just attacking government, or we are not just interested in creating problems. We want to be involved. We want the process to be transparent.
Yeah.
We want to be involved in every step of the way. We want to stop complaining.
Okay.
Is it very difficult for you to just inform the main opposition or get us on board? It is not difficult.
Right.
That is what we are looking forward to. And this time we are going to fully cooperate. We are not going to boycott any process.
Right.
We are going to participate fully, and we are going to ensure our people are counted in every part of the country.
And we can agree on that.
Okay.
We can 100% shake hands on that.
Right.
We can agree.
So that's done and dusted.
Census, everybody they participate, let them consume.
Of course.
It's about all of us.
All
it's
of us.
Umu, it's about you.
No boycott.
Reverend, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, please. Thank you.
So, this wasn't a normal, if you like, town hall. It was in the heart of, the opposition. Many would say it was an act of bravery, to even confront those who are considered your political opponents in this business. How would you, as a neutral man, of course, how would you describe the McKinney encounter? Do you think it served its purpose?
Firstly, because when people see me, they associate me with National Election Watch.
Oh, yeah.
I am not here on the ticket of National Election Watch.
Sure.
And I want to establish that.
Definitely, yeah.
Coming to the town hall meeting, I think it's a novelty.
Right.
And I think we should congratulate the president for that initiative.
All right.
You see, a lot of time, the distance between the government and the governed creates a whole lot of mistrust, suspicion. But then when that opportunity is created, whereby the head of state, as head of government, comes and sits directly with the people, I think it's a big opportunity, and I think that must be emulated by any successive governments coming.
All right.
One, it can escalate tension. It can escalate apprehensions.
Right.
And I was happy that the issues were direct. I was happy that the issues were things actually affecting the people. And I appreciated the manner in which the president responded to those questions. There was no anger. In fact, at some points, he would bring in humor. And so I think I like that. And your question about taking it to McKinney, where it's a seeming opposition place. I think that's bravery. The place where you think you will get the greatest attacks, you say, this is where I am going. It's not every person that has that kind of nerve.
Right.
And I think it served its purpose.
Right.
I hope the president will continue with that.
Right. Now let's play this video. It's about the electricity situation in McKinney. The president was asked, you know, and his response at the town hall there. Let's see. We'll come back shortly.
So, when they talk about electricity, Mr. Sef Abidan be minister for electricity. Wait here, see, and then I left the SAFU. Mr. Young, can I help me say? Maybe they almost, Dr. Young, they almost go crazy every day. Because the problem then, they're layered and complex. So people that can just say, ESA, the Ministry of Energy. No. Now we all within here. Pay you be. Protect the transformer within your community. Minister of Energy, I see you just. Okay, yes. I assure you say after this, McKinney then go pay the we move on. We reduce the losses to about 50%. The next time we can we go reduce them to.
The mayor and the chairman there then will help we for let and there.
All right. So, Mr. Minister, help us understand why is McKinney not getting sufficient electricity? Is it because of the 50 or 60% of debt that the president talked about that they're not paying for the electricity, or what?
Well, just to be clear,
okay.
McKinney is one of the district headquarter towns that has benefited actually from pretty consistent electricity. I think just like the capital city, what they have been complaining about are the inconsistencies in terms of the level of the supply and the distribution. And that's, the president explained, is, the problems are myriad, right? There are multiple problems. I really want to take a leaf off what Reverend said. And Reverend, I think I want to join you, but also thank the people of McKinney. They welcomed us. They were very civil. They sat in that hall. They asked the right questions. And, a lot of times Sierra Leoneans think if we meet up no more, if you come on one part, you go on the other part, no, Sierra Leoneans are actually people who want to engage with each other. And I think that's what you as civil society, this, you organize these platforms all the time. That's what we're finding out as government, and that's the culture we want to create. So I think on the question of electricity on the McKinney question, I think what the president said, and I've heard that people are trying to make a big deal out of this. By the way, a lot of communities in Sierra Leone do not pay bills, yeah? Bo, it's not just McKinney when not they pay, eh? Bo too. A significant percentage of people in Bo do not pay. But we were in McKinney. He's sitting in front of the people in McKinney. It's a civil call. As you said, he's saying it in jest. It's not like talking down at the people. He's engaging with them. It's a friendly environment. And it's true that before going to McKinney, we got the data about the percentage of losses. That is electricity that's distributed to McKinney, but that do not come back paid for. It goes all the way up to 70% of electricity that is expended in McKinney, we don't get money out of. And there's a lot of problems with that. It's not just because people refuse to pay, it's because there's thieves, it's because there's leakages, because there's wastages. The president was making general reference to that. And I think on that additional question you were asking, he responded. He's going to double the capacity of Bumbuna. We're increasing, by the way, the entire network line is what the $480 million MCC is going to deal with. So we're not just dealing with generation, we're dealing with distribution, we're dealing with the system. We have a plan. By 2030, keep in mind when President Bio came to power in 2018, the country had the most generous estimates of the level of electricity in the country in terms of coverage and reach was between 16 and 18%. Today, we're closer to 40%. And with everything that's going to come up, when you add NANS, you add all the respite and all the energy projects, and in like 2030, that's 4 years from now, we'll be about 78%. Mission 360 million that you just announced in your opening, that is a seismic
By 2030, you said?
By 2030.
If at all your party had gone out of power,
It doesn't
how would that
matter.
be achieved?
This is look, we inherited Bumbuna,
Okay.
but we're doubling it. That's what governance should be. But I can assure you we'll be in power. So what I would tell you is,
Okay.
what this president did was to make investments in and said, we're going to change electricity forever. And he said to the people of Makeni when he was talking about the generator, he said, Bo, if I use his line for land for share, he sent a team to talk to the leaders in Makeni. You had the Bumbuna power, you had 2 generators. He said, Lunge don't run out. I did the airport, the plane in the land. We went there to ask the people, and they agreed. When it was time to go pick up the generator, they incited the public. They misled the public.
Who incited?
The politicians. The president was very clear. He said it. And that led to the loss of lives, which he said he regretted. That is what you get in a modern public square. As the Reverend said, you have these kinds of conversations. You de-escalate. You can diffuse tensions. You can have an opportunity. For example, that incident, we never really had an opportunity to talk about it. But in Makeni, he sat there and he spoke about it in a modern public. That's why I said, if anybody was paying attention, tell me which topic you wanted to ask about that we did not cover. You just name it. Everything that we could within a 4-hour period, we did. Maybe you wanted us to use a word we did not use.
Okay.
But you cannot say, and again, when you do these interviews, it's impossible for you to do, even in these 2 hours, for you to cover all the area we all Mawale cover in the exact words that they want. So you can, if you want to comment on the substance of what happened, which is what I invite everybody to do, we want to learn. I want to hear how we can make it better.
Okay.
Because I'm telling you, next year there's going to be another town hall, and we're going to make sure that, as we've done before, you cannot compare the first edition to the second edition to the third edition.
Right.
We're able to bring in more voices in, and we're able to address the substance of these issues that citizens raise.
But the minister said 70% by 2030. You see that being
78.
78% by 2030.
We're going to be closer
How
to
feasible do you
80%.
think? I mean, given all of the
numbers are there.
issues around. Even the president said it's not a quick fix, actually. So some serious problems. He said he ran away from that particular ministry after he had headed it for a while, jokingly, though.
Yeah, I'm very much interested in electricity. In fact, we are known for electricity infrastructure. We need to know that clearly. And maybe I hold a contrary view to some of the assertions put forward by the minister.
Okay.
I'll briefly read this, the state of electricity by 2017. In 2017, electricity generation in Sierra Leone total approximately 350 million kilowatts. The power mix was divided between renewable energy, primary hydroelectricity, and fossil fuel, with renewable accounting for about 60.9% to 75.2%. So we need to know that firstly.
No. 60 of what? My brother, be careful with
Yes.
that. Your statistics today, I guess, more problem.
No.
60%, you can have 60% of one. The
No.
question you should ask, no, if you want to challenge my stats,
Do you want to moderate?
what was the, no.
No,
What
it-
was the
it seems-
total
It seems as if you want to
electricity
moderate. Generation.
access
Yes.
in Sierra Leone?
Yes.
Yes, what was the total?
Before we took power?
Yes, in 2017.
Okay, let me give you the statistics.
Yes, please.
No, in 2017,
Yes,
I
sir.
have just read the one for 2017.
No, what you heard is not what I was quoted. You are quoting a completely different
Well,
words.
I am not saying I am quoting in opposite to what you quoted.
That's what you said.
No. I was given a position of the electricity status by 2017.
But
then let me also
beyond
give you
17%.
let me also give you a status of the electricity in Sierra Leone in 2007. We took over in
2007.
2007.
Okay.
Yeah. The entire country's electricity production was 47 million kilowatt hours, raised from a mere 10 megawatts. By 2017, 315 million kilowatt hours produced from over 280 megawatts. From 10 megawatts to 280 megawatts.
Which source are you quoting?
From 10 megawatts
Who wrote that?
who wrote what?
No, I mean well, I'm actually
You can.
What's your
the source of your information. That's what I'm asking.
Before we left the country,
Okay.
we did give an Aninova note to President Bio.
Right.
In that yes, of course, it's a source.
Okay.
Do you want to discredit the Aninova note?
asking.
It's a source, of course, it's a source.
No, it's okay.
But besides,
Go ahead.
besides, you can also check other sources to know the electricity status
Sure.
in 2007.
Right.
and 2017 and compare the figures I gave out if I'm not correct.
So I think it's getting better under this administration.
So we need to know that very
focus on.
clearly. Now, the electricity situation is very deplorable in this administration.
Are you saying that there's been no improvement?
No, I am not saying there is no improvement, but it is deplorable.
Significant improvement.
No,
What about
because
significant?
there is work in progress. They will tell you there is work in progress.
Okay.
I went to Lunge quite recently to receive the remains of the late chairman. Lunge, where the international airport is located, is very dark. Very dark. We slept in Lunge. I asked
The entire Lunge?
The entire Lunge is very dark.
Yes.
This is no exaggeration. It is very dark. I slept there.
But we're launching
I asked the
10
question,
megawatts there.
why
We're
is Lunge
improving
dark?
Lunge by 100%.
Yeah, a government
Startec is coming
official
online.
did say they are working on the
It's
electricity
done.
infrastructure
We're
in
launching
Lunge.
it.
That's what the
You
minister is
understand?
saying, that they're about to unleash a
that
10
is why I
megawatts.
said- yeah, of course, but
renewable
then,
energy.
but that is why I said it is possible because they are claiming it is work in progress. Now let us go to McKinney, because this whole debate about electricity theft, the accusations were made in McKinney.
The president said they're accumulating debt. They're not paying for the electricity,
Now,
6 to
let me
70%.
speak for my people in Bombali.
Okay.
Yeah, I spoke with the mayor before coming.
All
They
right.
are very dissatisfied. The people
With
of-
what?
With some of the statements made by His Excellency the President.
Was this wrong, really? Let's just clarify that.
Well, I am not in the position to say the president was wrong or not.
Okay.
I am not a resident of McKinney.
Oh.
I am just communicating the thoughts of the McKinney people.
Okay.
Yes, let me be very clear. Firstly, the generator saga. You know, the mayor did say they pleaded with some of the victims, their parents of the victims that were killed, 12 of them, 12 souls. Yeah. 2 of the parents were in the hall. So they were expecting at least a condolence message from His Excellency the President regarding the 12 people that were killed during the generator saga. Yeah, that did not come from the president. So in fact, they are very dissatisfied because 2 of the parents, they pleaded with them to attend. They were in that hall. Secondly, the allegation of electricity theft, they have denied it. That in fact, they are using prepaid. When you purchase top-up or units, you put it in your meter. When the amount is finished, and then you will not have electricity. So how can they embark on electricity theft? Thirdly, they have also said, in fact, electricity is being rationed in McKinney. For some area, after 72 hours, if they give you electricity now, you can only receive electricity after 72 hours. You understand? But again, I also agree that electricity theft is very rampant in the country. And that is why some of us are very frustrated. Because when you go pay me 500 and go give me 198 units, and you sit comfortably and don't pay anything, and then you embark on electricity theft, it is frustrating for some of us. One of the reasons why I have made this very clear in some other interviews, that there has to be mechanisms in place. That in fact the tariff is too much. Because if you purchase, just a few minutes ago, I was submitting a report. The reason why I came late, I was there with a friend at the office. Per top-up done per week, I get me like one block. Orange money. I didn't purchase orange money, 100 euros. I was given 15 units. But during our time as APC, in government, when you purchase 200, they will give you bonus, at least. For the end of the month, they will have to take some tariffs. You have to pay for meter service and some other charges. But within the month, if you purchase twice or 3 times, they will give you bonus. That is not the case here now.
So you're saying electricity is much more expensive?
It
under
is
this
much more
government?
expensive. You need to know that.
Okay.
You understand? And the reason, one of the reasons responsible for the rampant electricity theft, it is because it is very expensive. I want government to consider adjusting the tariff on electricity and put proper mechanisms in place because the people are evading.
All right.
There is a big loss.
Right.
Because when the one that they pay for electricity, they don't reach the one that will not pay.
Including in Bombali?
No, I don't want to limit it to Bombali.
I said including.
No, I don't want to limit it to Bombali.
I said including.
Generally in Freetown.
Okay.
Not take Freetown. I'm sitting in Freetown. I'm resident in Freetown.
Yeah.
I am not resident in McKinney. I don't have to speak for McKinney regarding that. No. Regarding electricity theft. So the
Finish up,
McKinney
please.
people are not satisfied. I think they owe them an apology.
Right.
On behalf of President, the minister has to apologize to the people of McKinney.
Start with apologizing to Umu.
Right. Reverend, let me bring you in. I mean, you've been here for a long while and you've seen it all under both the APC and the SLPP. And I think it's fair to say that perhaps you can make a very convincing analysis tonight. How have you seen, the electricity generation and distribution in Sierra Leone changed over time? Would you call it progressive or stagnant?
If I have to make analysis with regards electricity supply, I'll take it from my own use
of at
electricity.
Home. Okay.
From the time of Pakaba,
okay,
electricity was poor. And we had to rely on generator most of the time.
Kaba Tiger.
Yes. And then came the period of Anes by Kuruma.
Okay.
And there was some improvements.
It's true.
There was some improvements.
Okay.
But then going towards the second term, that dropped.
Okay.
And then when Madabiu came in his first inning, there was some rapid improvement. And then some way it dropped. And then it rose again. And recently it dropped abysmally. But it has come up again. Okay. The way I know is the fuel I buy for the generator. When there is supply,
so
it will take me like 1 week without buying.
All right.
But when it's really down, I'll buy every 2 days. And so that's my analysis as far as the electricity.
So in essence, you're saying that the development...
I do agree that the tariff is high.
Okay. So in essence, you're saying that the electricity condition in Sierra Leone is incessant.
It's
in progress.
It's better.
It goes up and comes down. There's a fluctuation.
Yes, there is fluctuation.
That's what you're saying. I just want to get you correctly. Okay.
Sorry, there is fluctuation.
Okay, all right.
But that doesn't mean there is
just
not
please allow me to finish. Okay, all right.
There is improvement.
Okay.
Marked improvement.
Under this government, is what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
I started with
the of course, with the APC, yes, indeed. And you said in the second term, it dived downwards again.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and it got better when the SSB took over. That's what you're saying. Okay.
So I think the measure that you use to assess electricity is what they call the percentage of the population with access to electricity in a country.
Okay.
There are two factors here. What the Reverend is referring to normally is you live in the urban area, and so you're entitled to electricity. If you live free on, where lights go, you feel and pass most people. So your voice louder. So most of the conversations on electricity is about the quality of access in the metropolis. And that's...
But do you agree that it's expensive?
I'm saying that's legitimate. That conversation is fair. People can criticize, and that's fair. But when we're assessing the president's record on electricity, it's important to look at the big picture. Okay. And on the big picture, I like to talk about the people in my villages that I come from. My father comes from Pakande in Bond district. My mother comes from Jimmy Bagbo. Both of these places had never witnessed the wonder of a light bulb in their entire lives. But for so long, those villages had never been electrified. Under President Julius Maada from Freetown now, Tego towards Mashaka now. These people who had never been on the grid, today are on the grid. And that is borne out by the percentages, and that's what is important. Okay. I was in Kamakwe about 2 months ago, Karina district. They had never had electricity. Today they have uninterrupted electricity supply. So here are the numbers. And this is the fact, sir, in terms of the percentage of the population that have access to electricity to today. In 2007, sir, the numbers were about 10% of the entire country. President Ernest Koroma did his bit. He moved it from 10%. After 11 years in power, it was about 16-17%. So he increased it. President Bill took it from about 16-17%. Today, it's closer to 40%. And in the next 2 years, with NANT, with MCC, with SCADE, with all the other projects that are in the pipeline, our ambition is to make it 78%
right.
in terms of total percentage of the population with access to electricity. That's why I say numbers are uncomfortable sometimes when we want to have this debate for our brothers in the APC. Because if you look at the numbers, access to that, and this is a universal number, you can check it. And I encourage you to look at World Bank data, because they have World Bank data that's publicly available. Look at this matrix. On that matrix, President Bill's tenure is beyond compared to anybody else in Syria.
Right. Let's look at something else. I'm not sure, but I feel that was perhaps the most defining moment of the, town hall, when the president publicly accused WAEC of being corrupt, including parents and even teachers. Do you agree with the president that our educational standards have fallen woefully because of these corrupt allegations? And he said he has evidence to it, by the way. Are you going to prosecute WAEC or not for these things, Mr. Minister? I think it's very serious, actually.
I'm not a prosecutor, but I think that...
Now, the government, would they prosecute WAEC for
I think,
these grievous offences that the president highlighted?
I think it's important to situate the president's comments in context.
Okay.
He was talking about education. And when I was asking him, I said, President Bill, I know this is a topic you're very passionate about. He's passionate about it. He talks about it, how education is bedrock. He wants our kids to go to school. And his biggest frustration is the institutionalization of malpractice in public exams in Sierra Leone. He sees that allegedly the exam bodies, school heads, school teachers, the students themselves, they all kind of for a ball, the gig don't drop, the man the lights, this don't like. And there are videos that went viral where students accuse the president of say the power and say instead of being cheated they go school, they allow it. The Anti-Corruption Commissioner has done some dramatic things to try to be able to handle this, but the president thought at this town hall he wanted to speak directly to people, and he said, this is a father talking to his nation. He said, if it costs me for like go down on my knees for beguna, he said, I go beguna. He said, the only gifts we will give picking them is in education. And so I think the important part of the conversation is he's pleading. He did not say that standards have fallen. He says quality is our collective responsibility. He said he is.
How do you understand that when people cheat in exams?
Yeah, but cheating in exam, again, exam is one output. He's saying we're all responsible for the quality. He's frustrated with the cheating. But again, cheating has been going on for a long time. And me, I have a long record, I should state, of my own criticism of WAEC. I have challenged WAEC results in the past. I've tried to sue WAEC in the past. I am frustrated. I am with the president.
Are they
I
unsuable?
find WAEC very frustrating as an institution.
Are they
and
unsuable
I'm
or
sure
what?
it's not the top of the institution that wants to do this.
Okay.
It's typically the people that are working there that sometimes collude. Because I remember once when they seized results the year before we sit, they seized all my results, I think about literature or something like that. And I said, look, if you're going to seize results, show us example of people you have held accountable in WAEC. Because if the result leak, who said the result will come off from? But you're only holding the public accountable. You're not holding yourself accountable. So this is we're having this conversation all the time in government about how can we have these kinds of public exams authorities who are so responsible for so much in our lives, all of us, for outcomes that we all face in our lives. And yet, the means of accountability against them are limited. Look, there's a WAEC law, which they insist we must pass, that protect them from certain things, that says that they should handle these things internally and all that. We're currently reviewing those laws. And the president has shown, again, it's great courage for a head of state to come forth and say this public exam body has challenges and that I'm calling on all of us to fix them. That's courage. That's what you want your leader to be able to do, to say that there is a problem and to say, look, I have spent, if it's about the money, he spends the highest percentage of his GDP on education. If it's about investments, he's invested close to $2 billion, as he said himself. If it's about paying the teachers, he's increased their salaries more than anybody else. So if it's about all
No,
of
they're
those
still complaining that it's small.
Of course, it's not going to be enough because we want them to get more. But you have to look at the pie. We're all going to eat from the same pie. So he's been trying to manage that. But I'm saying, with everything that he's done, he's saying to all of us, we can all do better on quality. And he's asking the citizens. It was a civic call. I think it was actually one of the most statesmanly moments of that town hall.
In plain language, though, I mean, does he have plans of taking this further? That's what I'm asking.
Look,
against WAEC.
No. Again, I don't want us to make this about WAEC alone. He said
it's about WAEC, parents, teachers as well. We are accused.
We're all complicit.
You mean every Sierra Leonean? You mean?
Yes, those people that participate, because the company, they know that they go there. School teacher, the school picking, paying them. Then picking the council, they say, Mama, Papa, give me money, I go pay for the ball.
My question
give the
is,
money
why
for
can't
pay for the
WAEC
ball.
be held accountable? That's my
But
question.
it's not just WAEC. Even if you hold WAEC accountable, you have to hold the school principals accountable.
Yeah.
You have to hold the teachers accountable. You have to hold the parents accountable. You have to hold the teachers accountable. And I think what President Bio has done with these kinds of things, he's shown that for these civic things, it is not, you don't solve them by criminalizing everybody.
Okay.
Now, once you go grab, you go arrest. What's in there for Apple now? You're still going to need WAEC. You're still going to be part of this. So it's not enough to just say, oh, because we have an issue, let's criminalize. He's using his bully pulpits. That's why you do a town hall like that. To now make that call, to shake WAEC a little bit, to ask for accountability internally, to ask all of us to do our part. We're having this conversation. If he did not say that, we're not going to be having this conversation today.
Sure.
So it's helping us move in the right direction.
Mikhailo, changing didn't start today, of course. Even under your administration, it was happening, of course. My question is,
How do you tell it was happening?
I mean,
Do you have evidence to substantiate that?
Yes,
well, you know, this is, I mean, it's generic actually. I mean, it's an unpopular though, but I mean, everyone would attest to it. There are no facts, of course, but I'm just saying.
I am just pulling your legs.
Yeah, I understand. But what I want to get at is this. You know, we've been discussing cheating for a long time. I watched the recent QS ranking globally, and no university in Sierra Leone was ranked. And this has been happening for decades.
Yes.
What's the problem? How do we fix our education? At a time when the world is advancing, even academia has grown tremendously around the world.
Yes.
You know, there are Ivy League universities now offering sober courses. You know, just I think yesterday or so, one of my favorites in Ghana, renowned investigative journalist Manasseh Azori, graduated with a master's degree in English. I mean, in his place, Ghana, there are even some courses that are considered reckless. You know, how do you fix things? But at least they're being rated.
Yes, it's frustrating. Yeah, you know, this we do not have to bring politics in this. I am going to state the facts as they are.
Okay.
In fact, when the president did accuse of WAEC of contributing or aiding and abetting examination malpractice, there was a program on TV. I was asked a question and I supported the stance of the president. And in fact, some of the pupils did send messages, you know, accusing me of being an opposition that is not advocating for their well-being. But the truth of the matter is, it is country first before politics. We need to understand that clearly. It has to be a collective approach to be able to get it right.
Okay.
We have made a lot of mistakes over the past years, and we need to do that which is right to fix it. But before coming to that, lest I forget, let me state that the percentage of electricity by 2017, total generation, was 23.4%. And we inherited it at 10 megawatts. We left it at 280 megawatts.
Source.
That was a tremendous progress. Yeah,
give us a source?
made by the APC.
I was quoting World
let me
Bank. Can you tell
proceed.
us
Let
the
me
source?
proceed.
Which source have you quoted?
Let me proceed.
Give me source, please.
When I quoted the figures, I referred you to our handing over notes,
that's
and
not
I
a
also
source.
asked you to check.
Is that what
our
you're still
sources.
quoting?
That's not a
Now,
source.
of course, that's one of my sources.
No, but that's
No,
not an
that is
independent
a source. That is a source. Do you want to tell me?
You need an independent source. World Bank, independent
by the time President Bio exits by 2028, the handing over note of President Bio should not be regarded as a source.
No, that's an internal
should
document.
it not be regarded as a source?
But even
no,
that
but we are talking
document
about
Proceed. Proceed. You're presented. Go ahead, please.
We
I want to bring in the evidence.
should be in a better position to tell you
Okay.
that.
No.
Now, when we identified the problem in the education sector,
Okay.
and we did set up a commission, the Bamanja Commission, to address most of the concerns, ranging from examination malpractice. WAEC was identified, examination malpractices dealing with public examinations.
That's the SS4
especially Becker and WAS. And then the syllabus, okay? The WAS syllabus, we took the WAS exam. I took the Becker and WAS exams.
Okay.
The WAS syllabus is far more, than what used to be the O-level syllabus. It's far more expanded than what used to be the O-level syllabus. And so it requires you to spend more years to be able to cover it. So Bamanja recommended an additional 1 year in secondary school. When the SLPP was campaigning, they politicized it.
Okay.
They said we can't pull SS4. APC want for wasting our time at school. They politicize it because we are of the conviction that it was not easy for them to complete the syllabus at SSS3. So we added another year so that they can be able to complete the syllabus. Except if you have parents that are very caring, that will give you, the opportunity for extra lessons. But if you go to school, depending on the lessons that are taught in school, from JSS1 to JSS3, you cannot complete the Becker syllabus. And from SS1 to SSS3, you cannot complete the WAS syllabus. So we added 1 year at senior school for you to be able to complete the syllabus. They politicize that. And so it is coming back to haunt us. The politics they bought in the education sector. It is coming back to haunt us. And now with all the free quality education, it is not only free, but they added quality. Quality presupposes we have to, produce pupils that are very much intelligent and have what it takes to go to the university. When diagnostic tests are conducted at the mass communication department at Fairby College, most of those applicants cannot make it to be shortlisted for admission. When examinations are conducted at Commerce, College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, most of the candidates cannot make it, even at master's level. The Institute of Public Administration do conduct examination for master's admission. Most of those that takes the examination always do not pass, most of them. So we have to go back to the drawing board, look at the commission, look at the findings of the commission. Even the teachers' management was also recommended that most teachers are not properly managed. No proper monitoring mechanisms. Now when you go to rural areas, most schools, the teachers go when they wish to go and return home when they wish to return home. They don't go according to the scheduled timetable for schools. We need to look into that very clearly. Another major challenge is overcrowding in schools and the two-shift system. The SLPP promised us that they are going to build more schools and increase more classrooms so that we can avoid overcrowding. But as we speak, there are still overcrowding in school.
Okay.
Again, there are many challenges, even with the free quality education. So to answer your question, this is very abysmal.
Okay.
It is frustrating for the country. We have to go back to the drawing board and start addressing those concerns and those recommendations and findings that were made by Bamanja. The APC is a solution to this country's problem.
You're saying that they should look for the Bamanja solutions?
We have to go back to the drawing board.
Come back with SS4.
We have to go back. If it is possible for us to bring SS4 to address the issue, we should.
Would SSS4 work?
Yeah, of course.
Would it?
No, look.
No, okay, let's say if we don't want to bring back the SS4, yeah, we don't want to bring back the SS4. But then let us ensure that teachers are actually monitored properly. Some they go to school, they don't even teach. They spend the rest of the day outside. How can they complete the syllabus? How do you expect somebody to take the Becker examination and WAS and pass without completing the syllabus?
I spent time
without completing the syllabus.
On the Bamanja Commission, and I think the people of this country had a chance to have a say on the Bamanja Commission and its recommendations.
Okay.
And that's why they voted overwhelmingly for President Bio. And that's why they wanted us to put an end to the travesty that was the SS4 recommendation. It was, look, our parents spent a lot of money to put us to school. They were not paying for school fees. They were adding 1 more year to school instead of addressing the underlying problems. This is exactly what you will do if you don't have a solution. So I'm shocked that he will bring that as an example of
so Bamanja Commission, is it not a solution?
That the APC had.
By the way,
the biggest thing that they had was to add 1 year to the school year.
Jones,
When they did
1 minute,
that,
please.
the following year after they did that, the results were worse.
Now, Jones.
Just a
So
minute.
the evidence shows that actually, when they did that 1 year, the results were worse.
Okay.
So the evidence
Were
of
they
that
worse?
is terrible. Yes,
Were
they
they?
were.
Mikhailo.
No, I don't think so.
They were.
They were
You see,
not.
you are thinking.
Now,
I'm telling you.
now.
Please clarify briefly. I want to
When I
bring Reverend in. Okay.
When I stated we left electricity at 23.4%, I referenced the handing over note as a source. SIBA was not comfortable. So I want to add another source.
Okay.
You can also check the World Bank. Yeah, it's another source.
Okay.
You can check that.
Reverend, what are your analysis about our education generally? Falling standards, and is that even affecting the free quality education in your estimation?
Standards are down,
How down would you say?
very down.
Subterranean level?
I think efforts are being made,
Okay.
but such efforts are not producing the required results. And I think I don't want to blame that on politics. It's the country scenario that is finding a way into the education system. Education is not anything that is cheap. What you invest into it is what is the output that you will get. For instance, if you are paying tuition fee for a primary school kid, 10 leones per term, what would you expect really to be the outcome? 10 leones. Granite, now when you go to buy granite, that cup is 10 leones. And you give that as tuition fee for a child. That's one area we have to look at. And also the payment of these fee subsidies. As I am speaking, the third term fee subsidies is not paid. And the fee subsidy are what the school administration uses to run the schools. And so in the absence of that payment, what do you expect to happen? Before the free education came in, schools will ask children to go to, they will ask them out of school to go and get the fees. And some parents will pay, some will not pay. There were challenges, but the challenges are now grave. And I think somebody was talking about stepping up the monitoring of the entire system, not just the school itself, but the entire chain. The MBSSE, the Teaching Service Commission, the teacher supervisors, you know, that whole chain really requires some strong investigation. Because one other thing, there's a lot of corruption also going on in the management of the school system. You know, so, and now you will say the children, they are spying. The entire system itself has created the motivation for the children to spy. We have not changed our system of education at all to match present-day realities. Up to this point, our teaching and learning circumstances are not meant to make the children think.
So critical thinking is lacking.
It is like rote memory. What I give you, you give it back to me, and you pass.
Should it be that way, though?
And this information is now everywhere. It's easily accessible. And so if you want me to give you what you gave me, and I have my phone, I have it in there, I'll give it back to you.
You call it back to sender.
Exactly. So we really have to overhaul our education system if we want to get good products.
It's a what? More practical-based kind of learning?
Even
because again, how do you assess critical thinking?
The instruction in the schools, we have to revisit that.
I've had a lot of...
And what's appalling, that's the same thing that is operating in the universities. The lecturer goes, he has a whole note and he's dictating, you know. And those who are very good, those who learn the Quran, they are very good at it. They can swallow all and give
memorization.
You back. And it's not everybody that does that. So they will either put it on papers, they will put it on phone, and this. Let the education you are giving, like, be an inquiry kind of thing. You want to find out, you know. That makes it's more like research focus. If the education we are giving is motivating the children to search, to investigate, to find out, so that they can get discoveries, innovation, that will help us. But as long as we continue with that education system 50 or more years ago. That's the same thing we are doing in our schools. Let us don't expect anything better. These children are now better equipped.
Could things get worse though? Because with the coming of AI, artificial intelligence, we have now ChatGPT, and all these kinds of apps. And I've also even heard allegations of students who are paying for their thesis, dissertations to be written for them. They cannot write adequately.
Correct.
They cannot even speak English properly. It's a problem. Just recently, the Ministry of Education summoned, a lot of professors actually around the country to discuss the falling standards of English language, and how people are failing it, woefully.
That one can be blamed on the universities themselves.
Universities.
If somebody writes your thesis,
Okay.
and they have to go and make you present
To defend.
and defend,
Being the Viva, yeah.
that script will be just scrapped.
They should fail.
Because they would know this is not your work.
Yeah.
Because if you did not write it, you cannot defend it. So they have a way of overcoming that one if the universities are prepared.
Now let's go on to something, I know a lot of people may be eager, to hear about the field. Of course, the government has just cut down on the cost, of course, 5 billions, 2 billions. Although civil society organizations are, including the Native Consortium, I'll quote them here, saying that it was too small of, to make any significant change to the economy generally, if you like. This one I will start with you, Payamba, because I know you would want to, speak about this. They say that the cost should go a little bit downwards than it is. Do you agree?
Yes.
Or in your fair assessment, they've done well by cutting down 5 and 2 billions?
It should go down.
Much more than this?
Yes. But before that, I want to just conclude on the education sector.
Okay.
Please.
Finish up, please.
Yes. You see, the decision to introduce another additional year into the school system was recommended by no less a person but an academic professor. He was the vice chancellor and principal of Rabi College, Professor Bamaja. I mean, not to anybody just go come on, also I can't talk to you now. No. This is a renowned academic. You understand? Then,
but how does this actually affect, standards now? They're still,
so we need
woeful.
to continue to review the education system. In 2024, the abysmal failure in the WAS examination warranted Honorable Emansi Lamina and others to even request that WAEC be summoned. Yeah, in Parliament for them to be scrutinized properly for that. So it has to be a collective approach to addressing this.
Right.
Now, when it comes to the fuel crisis, which is the question, I mean, it is very bad for us as a country, and most of the alarming increment on basic commodities, it is due to the increment in fuel. First of all, I understand clearly that it was a global crisis. We need to know that it was a global crisis, and that in fact, Sierra Leone was not the only country affected. Other countries were also equally affected. We have to be fair. But then after the stabilization, we expect that the prices should go down drastically. Now it is a commodity that we did not play with at all, because the survival of the country hinges upon that. Now if you want to traverse the country for your basic petty trading, it has to do with fuel. If you want to go to the provinces to get basic commodities to come and sell at Congo Market, Dovecourt and other places, it has to do with fuel. It's a very important commodity that we should not play with. That is also the reason why we as a government, we are subsidizing. We were compelled, a lot of, harassment, but we did not cut subsidies on fuel because we understand the implication on the ordinary man. Now transportation, basic transportation from Kenema to Freetown is more than 150 leons. From Makeni to Freetown is more than 130 leons. If you leave far west, you want to access PZ, you spend not less than 50 leons on transportation alone. To and fro, you will spend not less than 100 leons. The burden on students on a daily basis is also very difficult. So government should have to look into this. Even when it was reduced to 33 leons per litre, some dealers were very reluctant to sell because they have to do further negotiations with government. I don't know why the reluctance if the taxation on fuel is going to some places we don't know. Government has to look into that very clearly. Now, if you have to sign a deal with dealers and maybe you've taken loans from financial institutions and you depend on taxation on fuel to replenish that loan, it is very difficult for you to reduce the price. Yeah?
Okay.
So we have to look into that very clearly. Now, let us take a comparative analysis.
Okay.
When we came, fuel, 2000, we did not exceed 6 leons for a liter of fuel. The APC did not exceed 6 leons. When the SLPP came, they took it to 12 leons, took it to 18 leons, to 23 leons, to 25 leons, and to 35. Now, diesel is 35 and petrol is 33. We are still looking forward to government to look into that very critically and continue to bring down the price. Because for us, electricity is a problem. Now, when you want to buy 10 liters, only 10 liters to put on your generator, if it is diesel, it is 350 leons. 10 liters cannot serve you for the rest of the night. So you have to double that. It's 700 for a batter of fuel. You understand? A batter of fuel, that is 5 gallons of fuel. It's about 700,000 leons. 700 leons.
This man, I go, he goes,
You understand?
A batter of fuel.
So,
I have to communicate for people to understand.
the reality is, someone would say that we are now living in a different economic time and zone. You know, a lot of shocks have come, you know, COVID, a lot of these. I'm not making a case for the minister, I'm just saying that these are the realities. Don't you think so?
When we started, I spoke about the shocks, that it was a global crisis. But even as that, it is now stabilizing.
Okay.
And a lot of countries, they have also reduced. So we have to look into that very critically. But forget about the crisis, the global crisis. You want to measure the war in Ukraine, you want to say COVID, you want to say Israel and Palestine, you call the wars, But we were also confronted with a crisis during our era.
Right.
Yeah, there was the Ebola that did ravage the Mano River Basin, especially Sierra Leone. The loss on Sierra Leone was too much, but we did manage. We did not take subsidies from fuel. We continue to subsidize fuel and rice. These are two important commodities that we should not play with.
And hypothetically, how much would you say fuel should?
No, I am not in the position to determine that price. Let's go.
What would you like to see? How much would you like it to be sold for?
It has its own implications.
Now, I understand.
You need to understand that. You also have to.
They cannot go to 6 leons.
No. Far from that.
Okay.
Times have changed. It cannot go to 6 leons anymore. So, but there has to be a comparative analysis with other countries within the sub-region and to see how they can ameliorate that price.
So, Minister.
First, I agree with people who want the price to be lower. I want the price to be low.
Okay.
Government is the biggest buyer of fuel in Sierra Leone. We buy fuel. That's number one. Number two, government is not in the fuel business. We only make profits from fuel. Many people in the vex on government.
What about the tax? I mean, the recently introduced finance bill in Parliament.
Yeah, but we tax everything.
Okay.
Government taxes everything.
But you're making money from taxes.
Yeah, but not because the prices are high or up.
Okay.
Okay? Government tax is sacrosanct. It will be there anyway.
Okay.
So government is not in the business of, oh, when the price go up, government back up and keep profits. Government is not. And he's mentioning subsidies. Government continues to pay subsidies. I'll give you numbers. When we announced the increments, because we did not do what they call full pass-through. We mean say the same amount when is supposed to cost the fuel, the oil market as them. If we do all the maths, it calculates the cost, the oil thing, waiting the price for be at the pump. By now, we will have been buying fuel before this reduction. We could have been buying diesel closer to 50, petrol closer to 40. Government said, no, we cannot afford such a shock. I know this because I was in the meetings with the oil marketers. And so governments and the oil marketers, they hold the line at some point and say, look, if you insist we come down more than this, we will have to close because we will not go get the money for go buy back. And keep in mind, at the time, the whole world was experiencing a challenge. Some countries ran out of stock. To line. One thing that President Biu has done is to make sure that we do our best so we know we get fuel scarcity in Sierra Leone. We have increased the number of players in the market. We have significantly increased the number of amount of reserve we have. We were going by In the past, we had only 10 days of stock. Now we have up to 55 days of stock. That's in terms of increase across the board. So irrespective of the challenge, what our ambition is, keep the stock. Make sure say enough there. Now, as governments, we can wake up and go into that meeting and tell them, you have to sell at 20. It's called the
Is it possible?
It's called the forces of demand and so it's possible for us to make that announcement, but they will not sell. And who's going to
Can't you
suffer?
force them to sell?
No, because you cannot. Because they cannot buy, how can they sell? Now, business people, you know, if you're going to sell your adverts, if I tell you to reduce the cost of adverts, you say, okay, good. I sell adverts for 1 day. Tomorrow, that advert money is not going to be enough for me to turn my station on. You turn it off. I'm not going to be able to force you to turn it on because you don't have the money to pay for your electricity. It's the same thing that happens with all marketers.
Is that what they've told you? That
No, is
if
that
they
what
sell
we
at
know?
20 leons, they will not be able to buy
They
it?
will not be able to buy. It's a simple math. By the way, the formula we have for calculating price is a transparent formula. It's on the NPRA website. It's approved and reviewed by the World Bank and the IMF. And it's exactly when the crisis happened, we went back to the World Bank and the IMF and said, look, our people cannot take the shock. We ask for additional money to put aside money so we can pay the subsidies. April, subsidy, 1 point something million. May, subsidy, 3 point something million. I want people to understand what I mean when I say subsidy. Every time you go and buy 35, okay, where you go buy 35, the actual price is 40. Immediately you buy 1 liter 35, they send government a bill. At the end of that month, they calculate that bill. So if you buy 100 liter, then are 5 times 100. For you won't buy what you buy no more. Governments will pay that. And that's money that needs to be budgeted for and put aside separately. Government is not in the business of fuel. I want people to understand this. Government won't let the price go down because when the price go down, we glad with citizens, they glad, they praise with, they clap for we. We're merely regulators and messengers. We go sit down with them, we negotiate, we try for say, okay, look, as done as we can. At the end of this negotiation, the price, the pass-through price should have been 36 and 34. We talk fair and say, look, if you put 1 cent per that, we're not going to be able to buy. They showed us their numbers. We have access to what they call Platt. Some of the activists are quoting crude. We don't buy crude.
But Edmond Abu would disagree with you.
Yeah, but I'm
You're
telling
making
you,
a case all over the place.
He's quoting crude. I've been on platforms with him. He knows that.
Okay.
What they buy is Platt. And besides, the same thing. You go to Donald Trump's Twitter. 2 weeks ago, he complained that the prices are not going down as much as they should because you're not just going to look at crude oil price. When you go buy, immediately now because of this crisis, demand is different. That's number one. So that also affects price. 2, insurance is higher because you're going to go through the straits and go through different places. 3, now with this alone, now they need more in Philippines because they had a crisis there. There was even a civic unrest. So this same shipping company, they decide, I go Salon or I go Philippines. When you go Philippines, they pay 2 times the price. One for Salon, all and they follow inside and for car. All of those things make up the composite price that we'll still have to pay. Now, I did something. I'm very transparent. I went to ChatGPT and asked a simple question. I did not say I did some sophisticated research. I said, ChatGPT, well, use it. And I think more people should use it, but use it with integrity as I did. And I said, listen, compare our reduction with other reductions in the sub-region. It turns out we had the single largest reduction in the sub-region. On the diesel price, we reduced by 12.5%. We come out 40, we count 35.
And Modi is saying that the other countries, they didn't raise their fuel costs
but as I told him on air, he's
as much
wrong.
as we did.
I told him on air he's
Which is
wrong.
why you cannot
I
compare.
told him on air he's wrong.
Okay.
Because we maintain, again, in the middle, we're in the middle.
Okay.
If you look at prices of fuel across the sub-region, there are countries that do better than us. You cannot compare us, for example, with Nigeria. Nigeria has the largest oil refinery on earth. You cannot compare us with Nigeria. You can't compare us with Guinea. Guinea, the state is in the fuel business.
So but that's what I want to come to, because we're crippled.
Comparable to us.
We're crippled,
Only
Mr. Minister.
now is the government in the business of trying to get into the fuel sector.
I understand. That's what I wanted to
For
ask.
years,
Why can't we start selling
so
fuel?
we have started the process. You cannot just get disrupted. It's a complex.
It's been a long time, you know.
What we're doing first,
Okay.
we're increasing our stake. We're setting up storage so government can, because you just go into the fuel business. Otherwise, what we do, we don't still buy from there. They still have the control.
But that's
Government-
Ajeti.
So yes, we own, but we don't have the means. So first, we're increasing storage.
Okay.
We're making sure government has a stake in the storage business. We're now going to register a company as well. We're going to make
What's
sure
the name of the company?
We don't know yet. This is
Okay.
this is all a process.
The
that's
pipeline,
going on.
okay.
We have to do this in an intentional way that will benefit generations to come, because we have seen that yes, it is true.
Okay.
That's why I start by saying to people, Mina Saloma, I want the fuel price go down.
You don't think this will
Hey,
happen
Pekin,
before 2028? This thing you're discussing, I mean,
Absolutely.
selling fuel.
No, it's not, maybe not selling, but we're going to be in the fuel business.
In what way?
Government is going to be in the fuel business.
In what
We're
way?
going to be in the business of importing. We're going to be in the
Why
business
can't
of
we have our
storage.
own filling stations, as it happens in Ghana and other countries?
I'm not aware
They
of
have Goil in Ghana, and
Exactly.
these are state-owned
exactly.
infrastructures.
But even that, they have privately run companies
Yes.
that are partnering with the government.
But we can sell too, that's what I'm
But
asking.
we already
Why
have
can't
a
we?
sophisticated market that is our. I'm not a expert in
No, I
the
understand.
nitty-gritties of the fuel business,
yeah.
but we have a sophisticated market. First, the health of any economy is not when the government becomes the player on its own. The health of it is when you allow the private sector companies. So what we have been doing, and by the way, some people complain about concessions and things like that. Why are we giving concessions? Because we want more players to come in and we want them to increase their investment.
Okay.
Once you have more competition, then you have greater supply, right? Then it forces them to say, oh, okay, by the way, when government announces fuel price, what we announce is a ceiling, not a floor. We say, the past year. But as we've seen in the past, if you say me, I go get me cheaper, I will sell and cheaper. Zala has done it in the past. Aminata has done it in the past.
Yes,
You
theirs
sell.
is very
So
cheap.
what does that do? That continues to help the business. In the past, we did not have that. We had maybe two companies maximum.
Okay.
So we're liberalizing the space, and we're finding ways for government to responsibly come into that space over a period of time without disrupting the private sector market. Because that's something also we don't want to, adversely disrupt.
Yeah.
Because we know that, government has to play the role that government should play within the market. But I think the overarching thing here is the public should know this thing. We want the prices to go down. We have a transparent formula for the prices. We have a fidelity to that formula. We must have a fidelity to that formula. We're still currently subsidizing.
Okay.
We've pushed the price as down as we could under the circumstances. We're going to review again in 2 weeks. This is the only time in the history, as I recall, that prices go down, up, and then we promise that it will come down, and we're keeping our word. But we're not, again, the reason why when we announced the last increase, we froze it, because the market cannot afford the level of volatility that people want. We're not the US. We're not going to say, oh, today they don't hit Straits of Hormuz, boom, tomorrow price go up by $1, $2. We cannot afford that level of volatility. Okay. So we have a formula. We meet every 2 weeks. We manage it. I want to commend the oil companies as well, because they are our partners in this. And government owes them money. And some of that money we have to pay, because
How much
we are
are
paying.
we owing?
I just gave you the numbers. April, it was about 1.1 million. May, it was about 3.5 million. And these are monies that Sierra Leoneans are accruing, because every time you buy, we get a bill, because
Okay.
we don't want you to pay more.
Yeah.
So it's important when people say, oh, price for go down. But we want prices to go down.
You've
But
promised,
we cannot magically do that.
I understand, but you've promised as well that the fuel will be reduced much more
Will be
than...
reviewed. I'm not going to promise a reduction, because if, for example, God forbid, there's a greater conflict and prices go up.
Why do you say that?
Have been saying,
People would think you want to reduce the prices
I've
further
said,
when you said
as
reviewed.
a government, it is our ambition.
So you'll be reviewing, not
Yes.
reducing the prices.
We review and we put it again through the formula. If the conditions continue to improve and the prices are down in the markets, insurance price goes down, the prices go down, the formula will reflect that we need to reduce more, we will do the needful.
Okay.
That's what we're committing to.
You understand, before everyone comes in here?
Yes, just a brief one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think government should do everything possible to ensure they review and reduce the prices on fuel.
Right.
Then secondly, in 2008, there was also a crisis in the world, but APC was able to manage the fuel at the same price. So we need to understand that clearly. When you're elected as a government, it is your responsibility to ensure that the welfare of the people are maximized at all times. That is sacrosanct, and that should not be traded for anything whatsoever.
And government was subsidizing Is that what
of
you're
course,
saying?
we are subsidizing. I have
And what
to
was the
that.
relationship between the government then and the World Bank?
Relationship?
Isn't there conditionalities to this as well? Because government cannot do...
But then why are you elected into government? First of all, you need to know there's a social contract between yourself and the electorate.
Okay.
And you did promise the people to always maximize their welfare. And so I know there are conditionalities that the World Bank will always impose. But you should understand the burden on your people and must be in the position to advocate for the welfare maximization of your people. We need to know that very clearly. So we are not adamant that, in fact, because we are under pressure from World Bank to remove subsidies from fuel, we are going to do that because we want to maintain political power and leave our people to suffer. We do not do that. The interest of the people is paramount. And so for us as a government and the APC, that is also the reason why we should be given the opportunity by 2028 to come, take over governance, and address those challenges. Because
and you're saying that if you took power, you would remove...
If we take power by 2020...
You would subsidize?
No, well, yes, we cannot hesitate to address subsidies on fuel because it is very important commodity.
Would you subsidize fuel if you came to power?
Well, of course, the fact of the matter is we are going to address the issue.
Let me bring you in.
To make a sweeping statement.
I understand.
One last one.
Okay.
Mr. Barr did say we cannot compare Sierra Leone to Guinea. Yeah, I don't know from what angle he's drawing that conclusion, because when it comes to comparative politics, you can compare those countries, maybe specifically on fuel.
Okay. That's what I said.
I want
we were talking about fuel, actually.
I want to understand better.
It was fuel. We were discussing fuel.
So maybe, what is the justification for that assumption?
But I
what is the
explained.
justification?
I said Guinea,
maybe I did not get that
the
clear.
state is the importer.
Yes.
In Sierra Leone, the state has never been an importer.
But then the state was subsidizing.
Yes, but
so if you cannot import, you subsidize.
Oh, my brother, subsidize.
You have to maximize the welfare of the people.
Again, let me.
If you cannot import, you subsidize. You see, the problem with government officials, they have access to fuel cheats. And so they don't bear the burden.
So they are complicit, still what you say?
They don't bear the burden. They have access to fuel.
Can government subsidize though?
I want to, again, I take these opportunities sometimes to do civic education. I think it's important.
No, civic education to who?
Well, it's not to the public. We're here to talk to the public.
Yeah, maybe
you
the public.
Ask the question.
Yes, of course.
So the comparison was limited.
Okay.
I said you have to compare what we're doing in Sierra Leone to countries that did similar thing in terms of the structure of the market. In Guinea, the state is an importer. When you subsidize, what does that mean? It means not to within the business. Like I say, when you go buy 35, when the price is supposed to be 40, then they send me bill and a subsidy. Simple. Yeah. And that bill there, I should account for it. But also he said something that I think is often used to dismiss government officials. There's so many people that receive fuel cheats. I worked for Purposeful, for example, before I came to government. When I worked at Purposeful, I never worried about what fuel price was because my office had a cheat and they would just go and fill up the tank. That's not the case in government, by the way. I've been in.
Are you saying you don't have a cheat?
I just want to explain that. This year, for example, from when the year starts, from when the year starts, this is the month of July.
Yes.
I have not received a single.
Since January?
Since the year starts.
Wow.
So again, this idea of.
Is it deliberate or are you causing cost?
Again, government, it's an entitlement. And it's an entitlement that is based on what they pay you. You talk about.
Is this a result of financial prudence or you don't have the funds
government
generally?
Has to manage all of these things. Yeah? Okay. So many civil servants who work are paid very little.
Okay.
They are also given fuel as a complement to
their salaries,
which happens in so many sectors. So if you want to have a conversation about fuel, I buy fuel. Even when I receive cheats, how many liters do they give me?
How many liters are you getting?
I think it's about 20 liters
per month.
That's what my entitlement is, if I recall. That's what my entitlement is. The cars that we have, if I have to do that, I have to go up country, all of that will be on me. And then I have a family, my kids go to school, I buy fuel for them. I have my parents, my mom and dad, who are both retired. I buy fuel for them. I make a start by saying, first and foremost, I'm a Sierra Leonean.
Okay.
You are a Sierra Leonean. It's important for us to start the conversation and say we all want better for the country.
Right.
Don't start by accusing me, say because I didn't government, I want
Let me-
I don't care.
No,
about
I started-
Let me bring let them briefly before I take the comments of our online viewers.
You see, government
Are you
to
one of the
borrow
people who are
government to
saying,
borrow some leaves
Please.
from countries like Kenya, Namibia, to see how they can address the
Reverend,
crisis?
are you one of the people who are telling government now to reduce the prices further, or you are okay with how they've reshaped
You
it?
even heard the minister himself say he would want the fuel price to go down.
Subject to reviews.
So
I want it to go down.
definitely, every citizen would want fuel to go down.
How much
including myself.
are you thinking?
I cannot tell because you have to
20 leons per
because
litre?
you have to look.
How does
what
20 leons per litre sound?
what the market operating is.
Business.
I cannot be that naive to say sell it this way when I don't know how they buy it.
Okay. But you want it to go,
We all want
of
it to
course,
go
I
down.
want it to go down.
right? Well, let me hear now from Maranyakimo. You've been sending your comments, questions and messages online. Let's hear them. Good evening, Imamo.
Good evening, Victor Jones. We utilize the time judiciously tonight. Amjata Bayo says, good evening. My name is Amjata, a resident of McKinney and a mental health advocate. I was among those who attended the presidential town hall meeting in McKinney, and I had also submitted a question to the Ministry of Information and Civic Education in advance. Unfortunately, due to the large number of questions received and the limited time available according to the minister, my question was not selected, and I was also unable to ask it from the floor because of the random selection process. I believe this issue is of national importance. During tonight's program, could you kindly ask the Honorable Minister whether he has a response to my question on whether he can ensure that it is brought to the attention of His Excellency the President? The question relates to the government's 2018 New Direction Manifesto commitments to develop mental health treatment and care facilities in Freetown and the provinces. Daniel Sheriff says, Mikhailu, that will make the lady to be psychologically affected by your one-sided and biased analysis on the wrong lady. Daniel Junista says, in Sierra Leone, presidential town hall meetings generally aim to bring the president closer to citizens by discussing government policies, national development and public concerns. However, compared with the ideal international model, they often differ in few ways. In some countries, such as United States, citizens are asked more spontaneously and sometimes challenging questions with minimal screening. In Sierra Leone, questions are often organized in advance or selected through moderators, making the discussion more structured and biased. Mohammed Dadiba Kamara says, Mr. Minister, the town hall held in McKinney was a stage-managed program. Konima Bobo Kamara says, what we need is sustainable electricity. I hope government is working on it. Zakaria Jalo says, Bo Tiflight Day everywhere in the country. President Bio just used the opportunity to engage McKinney people. The last we can take is from Rogers. He says, during the days of APC and Esbai Kroma's administration, McKinney was the place with light, but today Bo, Kono, Kenema, and many other towns and districts have light under the BO administration. Victor Jones.
Right. Thank you very much indeed. I'll start with you, Mr. Minister. Before you answer those questions that have been asked, I wanted to ask something I forgot. So someone, I think it was a mayor or someone else, talked about the McKinney Highway and that it's in a very, deplorable condition. Although that, some people said that those potholes along the highway were filled just, before the president went, so he couldn't actually, understand the, if you like, the dangerousness of fatality that people speak about often. However, but my question is, do you have plans of reconstructing, or rehabilitating that road before moving to the...
So two things. Number one, before the president went to McKinney on Tuesday, he was in Connaught and he drove past my.
That's good. Okay.
So this is a president who's always traveling across the country. He already knows.
So he knows. Okay.
He knows the status of. And yes, anywhere else in the world, if the president they can only fix the pothole. I'm sorry, like it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, but so
if
would you be?
The president get for Kaya. If now you self, they will fix that 2-3 pothole.
Yeah, I understand.
Like people want to make now they won't
Do
complain
you have
about that.
plans of widening the road?
Yes, and the president spoke. Look, that's why I said, and I have to call out the brother who asked about mental health because he's absolutely right. It's one of the few questions we could not get to.
Yeah.
But when we created our categories, we put mental health and disability and inclusion questions in one bracket, and we had one person in the hall. I remember I put up his hand, it was a blind man, and I pointed him, and he asked whatever he wanted to ask, and he asked about inclusion, facilities, and things like that. Our ambition was to also see if we could get an opportunity to raise questions around mental health, because it was also another question that people asked. But on that, there's good news.
All right.
We're in the process of bringing forth, in fact, Cabinet, I think, has approved already, at least at the subcommittee level, the new mental health bill that will modernize the mental health regime in the country, that will seek greater investment to really create the modern and to deliver on President Bill's manifesto. That's something I know the Minister of Health and a wide array of actors have been working for a long time. And if that question had come up, I'm sure that's what the President would have said. Okay. But on your direct question about roads, again, an ordinary person, I don't remember who it was, but I think it was the carpenter or somebody who said, this road, President Bill, see this road. And he did that. What I loved about that question, he combined road infrastructure with road safety. He said, this road, he said the accident name cool because the road tight. It's an ordinary Sierra Leonean who said that. I was moved by the question. And by the way, when he asked the question, people applauded in the hall. Citizens of Makini, they applauded because it tells you it's a question that carried the sentiment of the people. And the president went beyond what was asked. He started by talking about the one of the major roads, I think the Makama Road in Bombali, and he said, number one, that's the first road he's going to give instruction, they need to fix it. It's long overdue.
Makama leads to the government hospital.
To the government hospital. The president put up his hand and said, I've given instructions to the SLRA boss, to the Minister of Works who was in the room. And then the second thing, he said he thinks that road leading up to Makini, we should do it the same way we've done the Mashaka Highway. I think it's called double carriage roads, so that you don't have people, you completely separate the lanes and all. And he said he's committed to doing this. He said this is something that he's working on, and he's already had those conversations. So the answer to that question was already delivered by the president in the hall, and for which he got a lot of applause. And by the way, when the mayor had his chance to speak, he then said, Mr. President, when we met you in Boo, this is what typically happens with a good politician. He said, but we've been get forward, so you don't mention two. We the balance two. And then the president said, we don't hear you. This is what happened. This is the modern public square. It was an exchange, it was respectful, it was substantive. Look, no matter what we do, like we bring with Kana Yaso, you never ask you questions as best as you can. Somebody don't like comment section, we talk say, Jones, you too biased, this is stage managed. Jones, you know they ask about this. Jones, you empire bound. This is part of the democracy. But I challenge anybody on the substance of the conversation. And yes, it's going to be structured because we want people to learn, we want people to understand. We don't just ask presidents, go. We have to create some structure. And anybody who paid attention to that will know that there was structure, but it was substantive, and they were not gloved.
They were not scripted.
Ordinary people ask tough questions. And what we wanted the president to do, what my role was as their civic minister, was to convey the voices of the ordinary people directly to the seat of power, to the fountain of honor. And I think you had that, you saw that in the public square.
Yes. You see, to the questions, or maybe the comments, I want to also make it clear that I am not going to be blackmailed by Siba. I was not one-sided. I was just making an analysis. In fact, I spoke about two individuals that asked questions. But interestingly, there was another question asked by one Per Alfred, a carpenter, regarding national cohesion, the sharp regional divide, and what are the ideas of President Bill to bridge that particular divide. I think the question was aptly answered. That is the trajectory we should follow. That those borders are not barriers. They are not barriers. We should not get them stuck in our heads.
You
to think they are
represent
barriers. Yeah.
You are from Bombali.
Yeah,
Tonkolili, but
born
you
and
went
raised
to
in
school.
Kenema, born and raised in Kenema.
Born and raised in Kenema. And
Yeah,
you have
they
a lot of friends as well from the
Of course,
southeast.
yeah, of course. They should not be barriers.
Okay.
I think that was a very good response from the president, and that is the direction we want to see in this country. Running up to 2028, we do not want to see too many divisions any longer. The elections are expected to be transparent, to be credible, and to be fair. The more reason why the census process must be fair. The opposition, should be involved in every step along the way. We do not want to see complaints again. So this goes for statistics. And in fact, the minister is here on behalf of government. Is the person that is in charge of public information. I want this to go to statistics, that we have complaints from the main opposition, that we are being sidelined. We want to be involved in every step along the way. We are not going to boycott. This is not midterm census. This is the senior census.
All right.
We want to be counted, and we want to get the equal seats that we are supposed to get in our strongholds. Thank you.
Let them conceal.
Reverend?
That's the spirit.
Yeah, I
The
will
parting
just
statement.
give an opinion of,
Okay.
on the town hall meeting.
Yeah.
I like the atmosphere. It was not political. You did not see party colors flowing. And even though in some instances the normal hit between the APC and SLPP was taking place, but that was not prominent. And I think that's the way to go.
All right.
I think if we continue this way, that divide will lose its essence, and we will start looking at leadership based on quality rather than emotions.
Okay.
So I say thank you to the president for that initiative, and the minister too, for the manner in which he moderated the entire meeting.
Who was praised by his boss, by the way?
I think it was good.
Okay.
And I think people were comfortable.
You think so?
Yes.
Were you there?
No, I was not there, but
Okay.
you guys sent me the clip.
Okay.
And I was playing it until I came to your door here.
All right. Okay. We'll end today's edition of ARV on Sunday here. On the panel, where government spokesman, Chegunaba, Sierra Leone's Minister of Information and Civic Education, Reverend James Lai, whom you just heard, election specialist and activist, and the National Publicity Secretary of the main opposition, or People's Congress Party, Nkailu Payamba Kuruma. Now, in case, nevertheless, you missed this live session today, the program will be rebroadcast on Tuesday at 11 a.m. on DSTV, channel 399. Victor Jones are my names, and you've been hearing and watching us from the top of Tile on West Street in the heart of this sprawling city, Freetown, where our studios are domiciled. Up next is Primetime News. Good night.